Welcome everybody, as we show you a video of how we built our Cloud Strike table for our latest 40K and 40M. Hey everyone, Town Nick here. I just wanted to show you how we built this table. We really wanted to go above and beyond to make something special. The first iteration of this board actually began in my garage as I assembled a bunch of different terrain that I had built over the years. I wanted to make the platforms stand out though, so what I did is I took the pink insulation foam that I built the platforms on and I got some clear plastic champagne glasses and clear plastic tubing from the dollar store. And I screwed them in with white PVA glue and then with super glue, glued just the stem to act as a base to raise the platforms up. It actually worked really well. After that, I started to assemble pieces from all the different terrain projects I had over the year. I even went as far as try to install LED lights where I could. I had these spotlights kicking around from a third-party vendor, and I tried to put lights inside as well to try to light up the area. I ended up using a ton of the Sector Mechanicus terrain, the platforms and the different generators and those kind of terrain to try to really bring the board to life. Anything I could do to make it really feel alive. The Skyshield landing platform, some custom terrain of my own, just all came together to try to make one amazing board. And lots of fluff.
Cloud City. Population, no one.
We bought 2 very large bags of this cotton fluff from a local hobby store and just laid it out liberally across the board. We really wanted to give a sense of clouds and floating above the sky. You can never have too many clouds, right? Then, with the clouds in place, we started to build the table. We wanted to start with some ruins poking out from the clouds to kind of give the impression that we were at such a cloud level that the tops of the buildings were starting to poke through. Each platform was placed carefully, trying to poke it through the cotton batting so that it landed flat. It really gives a cool impression that it's floating. You can see the champagne glasses underneath this platform. They worked so perfectly to give it different levels of height. I was able to use both champagne glasses and wine glasses, all made out of plastic from a local dollar store. They work really well. There's a Skyshield landing platform that I put on here from Games Workshop, as well as a custom orbital gun that I built. This building was actually made in several pieces out of styrofoam and cardboard, with a few Sector Mechanicus pieces thrown in for good measure. Pieces of card were cut into squares and rectangles and glued onto the side of the pieces to give panel lines. I also used styrofoam to make the rock base.
So this is the Imperial Air Base. There's a runway that's going to come out here for planes to come out, and inside is the hangar. And if you look carefully, I've got lights. I got spotlights. Better see with, my dear. Here's the runway for those Imperial dogs to launch their planes from. And now, all the finishing touches. All the gribblies, as some people call them, that make a board of terrain.
This kind of stuff really makes a board come to life. All the little details. I encourage you to put as many as you can. I love a full table.
Glue that onto it. Nice little walkway. But you'll notice, the Imperials, unlike us civilized Tau, don't put a single railing, no handrails, no safety precautions in the Imperial. Oh, I take that back. They do have a fire extinguisher, just in case the field catches fire.
One tip when designing a board as unique as this one is try to think of how the game will play. We tried to put as many different pathways as possible so nobody ever felt like they couldn't get their units where they needed to go.
So I first made this board probably about 2 years ago for an apocalypse game in my garage with some friends. It was actually the sideboard. People could fight over this while there was a bigger table going on the side, and everyone could try to control the big giant gun so they could shoot it at the other table. However, being naive and foolish, I decided to implement a rule where if you blew up the gun, it went supernova and the entire platform crashed into the other board. I put a high strength and toughness value thinking it would never happen, and it happened the very first turn by a good friend of mine named Dan Williams. And Dan Williams is known for crashing spaceships into things. And so he blew up the table, and for the rest of the game, raining death on the other table was the name of the game.
It was my Warhammer Titan you crashed
That's
into,
right!
right?
You were playing! That's right. Paul had his Warhammer Titan crashed into.
Zach was piloting it, so I cannot take credit for that.
It was your first time playing too, wasn't it?
The board is almost done. Time to put some of those finishing pieces. At this point, we're starting to put some of the effects in. Like, if you'll notice, underneath right now, the main board, there's a blue light flashing. Trying to decide whether we should do blue or orange. Eventually went with orange, thinking maybe half the board was on fire, maybe during the attack, some of the places were on fire. Also, smoke. Smoke is integral to making a board look cool. There's all sorts of ways where you can achieve this effect. One really popular way is to get some dry ice, put it in a bowl, and put it underneath some sort of terrain item. That way you've got smoke constantly going. Dry ice can typically run for about 20 to 30 minutes. Good for a small game or maybe an introduction to a game. Oh, look at that explosion! Well, at this point, we almost have the board complete. It's taken about 2.5 hours of setup, but the whole project probably was about 20 to 30 hours to get all the pieces in place. Many of the pieces were pre-built from James' workshop, but it was a ton of fun even then to put them together and make them a part of a cohesive scene. I love when a board can tell a story, and this really tells a story about a Mechanicus base that might be just under a little bit of attack from the Tau. And there we have it, folks. There's the completed board. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short little video and an exploration of how we made this board, and I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration about building your own. Let us know your thoughts about what kind of tables you're gonna build. I know I've got some great ideas that I really want to try for future games on our channel. Terrain really is the awesome opportunity to tell a story with your game, and I can't wait to see what future stories we can tell. Until we see you next time, play on.